I am somebody. I am somebody. No matter what the court says, no matter what my family says, no matter what my significant other may say, I am somebody. I'm better than me. I'm better than God. Give yourself a hand. Hey everybody, Daryl Glaze coming to you live from the beautiful frozen tundra of Minnesota. Hey, listen, just want to share something with you today that I think will be an encouragement to you. You know, we all have tendencies in our life to start new projects and new ideas. Maybe start a new business, go back to school at an age where they said you couldn't go back to school at. Maybe starting something totally different or finding something in your heart that you really want to do, something that speaks to you, that nobody else may be able to understand, goals and dreams and visions you may have that nobody else can wrap their head around, and that's okay. But I would always remind you of one thing. There are going to be times when you feel like giving up, throwing in the towel, and that's just human nature. But just because you feel like it doesn't mean you have to. And that's one of the things I want to talk about, who's watching you. You know, we always have, things that we do and things we want to accomplish. But sometimes when we have a hard time finding that place to be motivated that comes from within, you want to find that place to be motivated that comes from the outside. This is how this works. Put yourself in a place of knowing who's watching you. And I like to say there's always three kind of people that are watching you, okay? The first kind are the haters. They're the ones who like to say, I told you so. You couldn't do that. You're trying to break away from the crowd. You're trying to do something you think you're better than us, or this is something that you can't do. It's just ridiculous that you're wasting your time and efforts and money into something like this. You can't do that. Come on, let's go have a drink. Or you got what I like to call the seekers. The seekers are the ones who are looking for answers. They're the ones that are looking for somebody that they can look up to, somebody that they can model, that can make a difference in their own lives, okay? So you have the seekers, and then you have what I call the supporters. The supporters are the ones who are going to stick with you through thick and thin. No matter how bad things get, how many times you fall, or anything like that, the supporter is going to always be in your corner with a word of encouragement, with you can do it, or that a boy, whatever the case may be. But you're going to always find somebody that's going to add value to you when it comes to the actual supporters. So how do you find motivation in these three sets of people? Well, although they are all different in category, you can always find motivation in all three. Let's take a look at, for example, the haters. The haters are people who, like I said, they like to hate. They like to put you down. They like to put yourself in a position that you can't do that. Well, you know what? You got to let that fuel your fire, stoke that fire in you to go out there and put it in their face that you can do this, okay? I always like to say, let your haters be your motivators. Let that be the one that actually motivates you and take you to that different level, that different place, so that when they look back, they'll be the first ones that said they told you, oh, I knew you could do it. I knew you'd be right there. They want to jump on the bandwagon. You know, that's what haters like to do. All right, so let your haters become your motivators. Now, for your seekers, what you want to do with them is that you want to be that inspiration. You want to be that one that goes to the level, because they're always watching you to say to themselves, wow, that's awesome. And you want to always be telling them, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So when they see you get successful, when they see you living your goals and dreams and making things happen and accomplishing things in your life, the seekers begin to go, well, if he can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. They start to believe in themselves because they found that it can be done. And then the last ones are the supporters. The supporters who are in your corner no matter what, through thick and thin. Now, the supporters are people who are very positive. They're going to be positive no matter what. But the supporters always have a tendency to, when things get a little tough or you start getting weary or tired, the supporters are always the ones that come in just at the right time with the right word, or just to show up just when it's needed the most. I couldn't have experienced that more myself this past week. You see, I had one of the roughest weeks of my life. I had people even at work saying, "Are you okay? What's going on?" My team, the people I lead at work, they were asking questions if there was something bothering me. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I just was off on my game. Well, it's all came to a head come Wednesday. Wednesday, I was at work. We had a very busy day at work. Things were going on and what have you. And I was trying to do two things at once, which is I'm the first one to tell you I'm not great when it comes to multitasking. Okay? So I tried to do two things at once. I was trying to eat lunch and do my paperwork I was trying to get together at the same time. Well, you know what? That turned out to be not the best decision I made, because in the process of that, I literally bit into a tuna melt sandwich. And when I bit into the sandwich and I was halfway through it, I realized there was something different in my mouth, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. I started feeling around with my tongue, and there it was. I was missing my front tooth. It was gone. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, oh my God. That night, I had a speech contest I was in. I was competing against several other people in front of 100 or more people. And the bottom line was is that I started having all these negative thoughts come in. The hating thoughts like, see, I told you, you know, go ahead and quit. Don't do this. You know, you might as well just shut down and just withdraw from the deal and just call it a day. Don't get involved. Don't go and do that speech contest. Look how people are going to look at you. They're going to think you're a freak. They're going to think that there's something wrong with you. And people are going to start laughing at you. All those negative type of thoughts start coming in my head. And when they did, I put myself in a place and I said, you know what? I didn't put this much work in to just let it fall by the wayside. I didn't put this much work in to perfect my speech, to craft my speech, and to let the speech inspire others to just throw in the towel and quit. So I decided that after my day was done, I went, got ready for the speech contest. I went, got there, my wife, my granddaughter, my constituents, my fellow comrades and friends showed up. And when they came in there, I got up there, when it came time to do my speech, I got up there and did a brilliant speech. It was absolutely phenomenal. I even threw in the fact about how my day went that led to the missing of my tooth. And people were inspired by doing that. But there was nobody in that audience, in my opinion, that was more inspired than the one who was watching me. And that was my granddaughter. What if I would have just thrown in the towel and quit? What if I would have just said, you know what, I'm not going to do this because I don't have a tooth? What message would I have been sending to her when times get tough? You see, you got to remind yourself who's watching you, because you never know what decision you make will inspire somebody else to do great things. So remember, always be prepared and realize who's watching you, because you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. You can be motivated. You can get through any obstacle in life that you can possibly imagine. The bottom line is realizing who's watching you. This has been Motivation to Recovery. I'm Daryl Glaze. And remember, you are somebody.